Hello, welcome to the Fatherhood channel, where we talk about all great things that make us better fathers or better men in general. You know what? I just like the word fatherhood, but today we're going to be talking about compound interest and a few other things. But I just want to show you some things that I was sharing with one of my close friends to help him better understand how important it is to start saving as soon as possible, but not just saving, but investing. Okay, now I've shared the screen here, and I want to start off out with the concept of compound interest. So, what is compound interest? Uh, it's when the interest is calculated on the initial principal, which also includes all the accumulated interest from previous periods on a deposit or a loan. Okay, what does that mean exactly? A lot of people might think that interest is bad because that's why you have to pay back more money when you charge things to your credit card than if you just paid for it yourself with your own money, right? And then similarly, there's going to be some people that think interest is good and compound interest is good because it helps them earn more money if they're a saver or an investor. And I think Albert Einstein put it really well. He said, uh, compound interest, here it is. He said compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. He said compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Right? So those of you that got a lot of credit card debt and you don't understand what's going on when you're having to pay compound interest and it as a concept, you don't understand it, you're going to pay for it, right? And if you understand this powerful tool, then you can understand how damaging it can be if you're the one having to pay for it versus understanding it, using that knowledge, understanding of it to allow it to help you earn compound interest. Okay, so I want to help maximize and empower you guys and you fathers out there to not be the victim of compound interest, but to be the generator and the earner and the wealth creator and the wealth preservation for you and your family with the power of compound interest. So now I want to briefly go into some concepts here, which is I think we all understand that if you save money, you're basically taking money from your current self and you're going to give it to your future self as a gift, right? Another way to think of it is you take your money and you save it now. That way, when you're older, there's less of a burden for you to work or have to earn income. So you're helping out your future self, okay? It's not that you're penalizing your current self, it's that you're investing in your future self and ensuring that while you're healthy and young and you can work really hard, you can make sure you take care of your future self, okay? Because, there are some people in the world that it's gonna be a little harder for them to make that happen because, for whatever reason, they're unable to do that and depend for themselves. They can't rely on themselves when they are older. But the best thing you can do to empower yourself and not have to rely on others is to ensure that while you can produce, while you are making money, that you look out for your future self. Okay. Uh, um, so with that said, let's take a look at what a 20-year-old should be doing or a 30-year-old should be doing, or a 40-year-old, right? So I want to take the 401k. Now, what is the 401k? Usually that's some sort of work contribution plan for investing in stocks and things like that. And a lot of companies offer a 401k program. If your job doesn't, or you're self-employed, you can always start a self-employed 401k and create that for yourself, for you and your business. So that's something to look into. I'm not going to go into that today. I just want to talk about what the max amount. And actually, in my example here, I used 18,500 as the max amount, but that used to be the max. But the actual max now for 2020 is 19,500. Okay, but let's not worry about that. I already put in 18,500. Let's just use that number. Now, the concept I want to talk about here is, why is it so important? People say, oh, it's so important to invest early, right? The sooner the better, right? I wouldn't disagree with that. Probably in general, it's better to save early. But I think a lot of people have this idea that like, oh, well, in my 20s, I might be goofing around and not making that much money, but that's no problem when in my 30s and my life is, more together. I can then just invest then and I can just invest more. So it'll be fine, right? One thing to keep in mind that sure, on a side taxable account, you can always invest as much as you want, right? But you have to pay taxes on all that. Uh, versus if you have some sort of tax advantage account like a 401k or a Roth Ira, you can take advantage of the fact that you can have tax-free growth or reduce your taxable income, right? But there's usually contribution limits associated with those, which is why I showed you the max contribution limits for a 401k, and just for we're going to talk about this too. The max contributions for a Roth IRA, which is an individual retirement account, is $6,000. Okay. Now there's some qualifications here based on what your income is, whether or not you can do this. But for a majority of people, you're going to be able to create a Roth IRA unless your income is really high. Okay. So with that said, I want to look into the difference between a 28-year-old, okay, who is, by now he's finished college, he's maybe got a good job or started his own YouTube channel or business, and he's got some money, and he starts contributing $18,500 a year, okay, to his 401k, and we're going to assume a 7% growth. So 7% compound interest, right? This is going to be compounded annually, right? If it was compounded quarterly, it'd be different. But basically, we're going to assume a 7% annual growth, which, now why are we picking the 7%? Well, traditionally, if you invested in the stock market, it actually, depending on how you invested, you could have seen easily a 15% growth. So I'm going to show some examples of 15% growth. But what I want to do is be a little bit more conservative here. Let's not be so eager, because we don't know necessarily if the stock market will always give 15% growth. Just because it has historically doesn't mean it's a guarantee. So why not plan accordingly, that worst case scenario, or a not as good scenario where it doesn't produce as much growth as maybe we wished. So we'll just assume 7% here. And then same thing right here. This person's going to start at 38 years old. So he's starting 10 years later, and he's going to contribute 18,500. Same thing, 7% growth. Now, just to note the power of having 10, because we're going to have the same end date. We're going to see what their balances are like at 70 years old, okay, down here at the bottom. And now the caveat here is that after 10 years of investing, this gentleman or gal stops. After 10 years of investing, he stops contributing the 18,500. Maybe he's got some family, he's got some kids, expenses are going up, and for whatever reason, he can't afford to continue to contribute. When these first 10 years, he was single, or maybe he was just dating around, his expenses were lower. He was just living in an apartment with a bunch of guys, he didn't have a mortgage and had a whole house for himself and kids. And so these first 10 years, he's doing 18,500 a year, and then he stops contributing. No more 18,500. So he's not even, I don't recommend this, but just to compare, to show how you might think, oh, I'll just start investing later and I'll be able to catch up. But just to show you, this person starts 10 years later, and they're going to contribute the whole time, contributing all the way to age 70. This person's going to stop contributing. Okay. Who's got more at age 70? Okay. I think you can tell what I'm kind of trying to emphasize here, that in that equation of compound interest, how much does time play a huge factor? Okay. So we get down to age 70. Here, age 70, he's still contributing. This is for 32 years of saving and investing. He's got 2.2 million. Okay. This other guy's been doing 42 years. He's got 10 more years of investing, but he didn't contribute for 32 of those years. Okay. And he's got 2.3 million. Okay. He actually still has more money than this guy. Okay. Isn't that wild? He's still made actually 183, roughly $180,000 more than this guy. Okay. That just shows you the power of starting earlier. Now, don't feel bad if you are 38 years old and you're finally getting around to investing. Okay, that's fine. I'm just basically encouraging you that if you're younger and you're in your 20s or even your teens, the sooner you can start investing, the better. And just for comparison here, let's look what happens if this guy at 20 years old actually kept contributing. Okay, if he didn't stop, right? Because I don't recommend stopping, but let's just say, he didn't stop contributing and he actually kept contributing, age 28, and he's going to go down. He keeps contributing. And what do we get at 70? 3.8 million, right? And actually, basically 4 million by 71 years old, okay, versus 2.3 million. So you can see if he keeps contributing, it has a huge factor, okay? Because if we were to compare, so this guy's contributing the whole time, 2 million, 2.2. This guy's contributing for 10 years longer, and we got 3.8 million or almost 4 million, right? So roughly double what this guy is going to get just for that extra 10 years of initial starting investment time. Okay, that's the power of starting early, right? You're talking about 2.2 million versus basically 4 million. Okay, that's nothing to scoff at for just 10 years. 10 years in your 20s. Okay, foregoing. Now, I understand maybe if your income's not as high, so I want to take a scenario here where you're making a lot less money. You have a lot less money to invest. Okay, we're going to scroll all the way over here. This is the coffee example. Look, I wrote here $5 a day. Okay, if you're some person that buys a Starbucks coffee for $5, a venti mocha frappuccino, vanilla almond latte, whatever, you're basically spending $5 versus 20 cents to make a coffee at home. Okay, and this is from the Graham Stephan, who's got a huge finance channel. Okay, and he really rails on Starbucks coffee or people buying expensive coffee. Now, I don't care. You can buy nice coffee. The point is here is it's just $5 a day. Okay, $5 a day, 365 days in a year. That roughly initially is $1,825. Okay, so if every year you invest $1,825 per year, okay, and again, we assume our conservative 7% growth, and let's say you start at age 20, because, okay, let's be real, we all can save $5. Or, and I don't like this, like, oh, spend less and save $5. Let's just say make $5, okay? It's really easy to make $5, guys. I mean, we can talk about that in another video, but be able to just to increase your income and get $5, okay? I don't even care if maybe you're not even working. You can just give your mom a back massage and ask for $5, a 10-minute massage a day, and she's gonna love it, and she'll happily give you $5, okay? $5 a day. You can start doing this when you're 12 years old. You can give your mom a back massage, or your dad a foot massage. Ew. But I know our dads need some good foot massages, okay? So $1,825 per year, 7% growth. We get down to age 70. Okay, I wanted to see how long it took to get to $1 million. Okay, and it takes about between years 73 and 74. So after 54 years of coffee investing, coffee cup investing, you already got $1 million. Okay, that's plenty for someone to retire and live off of, right? Assuming you're frugal, right? So it just shows you that time is actually of the essence, not the contributing amount. Because over here, remember, this is $5 a day, 1,825 a year. This was 18,000 a year, okay? And yeah, you ended up with a bigger balance, but actually this is 2.3 million, right? And over here, and that person did stop contributing, right? But you get the idea here that time is really of the essence. And now another aspect to the equation is the growth percentage, okay? We assumed 7%. Okay, if you tweak that number, it does have a very dramatic impact. Now, what I don't like to hear is people thinking that, well, my 20s, I don't know anything, so it's okay if I start investing late. I'll wait till my 30s, but by then, like, I'll be making more money and I'll have a way better idea of what to invest in. So I could for sure get more than a 7% growth, I can get 15% growth, okay? The first thing to remember is that even all the experts on Wall Street struggle to get portfolios that have higher returns than, get that out of the way. No. Anyways, these experts, they really struggle to get the returns that they need to beat the market. And what do I mean by beat the market? And we'll go more in depth about this. But basically, historically, if you were able to invest in a sliver of what the market, the entire total stock market, okay, or we could look at different aspects, the total US stock market, you were able to buy a share of the total US stock market and owned it back in, 1987 up to now, you basically would see, it varies depending on what starting year and ending year you have, but basically an annual return of like 15%, okay, 15% growth. But a lot of people try to beat the market. They think, oh, I can buy specific stock in McDonald's or Coca-Cola, right? And there are people that can do a good job at this and maybe for a little while beat the market, but then something bad happens or the company they invested a lot into, declares bankruptcy and their whole retirement is gone, okay? That's why you can't put all your eggs in one basket, because we know as a whole, the whole US market or the total stock market of the world will always go up. Where humans are always getting better and more efficient. So if you bet on everything, sure, it might not be as amazing for a few years as maybe this one really hot market, this hot stock market, this hot company, right? But you don't know if that company will stick around. A lot of the top 500 companies back in the 80s are not around today. So if you had stuck all your money into one of those companies, you might not be doing so well today, right? So the key is it's called diversify and spread your risk out, and instead just own a slice of that entire business market, and you'll see roughly a 15% growth. So just to show you the power of that, because oftentimes a lot of these portfolio managers, they get lousy returns over their long term, like 5%. So I just want to show you the power of where if you have 5% versus 15%, okay? So here we're going to assume 5% growth starting at age 21. Same thing, the coffee cup money, $1,825. And you go down to 5% growth, and you only almost have $500,000 by age 74. And as you can see it here, it's $26 million by age 74 for 15% growth. So you can see just by an extra 10% growth, we're talking about massive differences. So the key here is, if the market can guarantee you 15%, why would you risk trying to pay someone fees and they take a cut of your investment growth to try to beat the market? They swear, oh, we can get more than 15%, we can get 20%. But historically, it shows a lot of those portfolio managers over the long term, over 40 years, do not perform well, do not perform better than the market. They have very lousy averages of like 5%. So good luck finding a great portfolio manager that can get you more than what just the regular S&P 500 index could get you, okay, at 15% growth. And we assumed 7% on these, and it's still sizable, okay, 7%. And that's just meaning we don't know what's going to happen in the next 30 years. Human progress could slow down. I don't think so. It's probably going to be more like the 15%, okay? So with that in mind, I hope you enjoyed this video. You got a little perspective of how important it is to start saving earlier, and also how important it is to save in the entire market a sliver. And we'll get more into that in another video. But I hope you enjoyed this. And with that said, like, subscribe the video. I'm going to try to keep doing these videos, fatherhood. I actually am going to keep doing these videos and talking about, I got my little checklist of different things I want to talk about for future videos. And have a good one, you filthy animals. And what do I got behind here? Got my kettlebell. I'm going to do a little workout. Got to stay healthy. Physical health, brain health, longevity, so you can enjoy your retirement, make that money, be frugal, live within your means, and peace. I love you all. prosperity, wealth, and happiness for you all. Goodbye.